Hi everyone, welcome to Applying Cybersecurity to Your Online Class webinar. My name is Alyssa Bernardes and I will be your moderator for this session. Let me just remind everyone that this session will be recorded. Before we start our fun in learning, let's have a quick check-in. So for everyone who's joining the webinar today, could you please say hi and shout out what organization that you guys are joining from? So please use the chat box. Just make sure that you guys are sending in your messages to everyone and not just the panelists. All right, so just chat in or just say hi and say which organization you guys are joining from. All right, so I see a lot of chats. I see we have participants from PUP. We have Malayan colleges. We have, one moment, I have a lot. We have DepEd Cebu City. We have University of Caloocan, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Muntinlupa, UST, RTU, DepEd, IHMCP, JRU, DepEd Antipolo. So it looks like we have a pretty good turnout, and good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. So before we proceed, let's just have a few reminders. Here are the tools that you guys can use to communicate with us. You will see both the chat and Q&A buttons at the bottom of your screen. Please use the chat section if you need to send us any feedback during the webinar. The Q&A section is where you can send in your questions. You can post them anytime throughout the webinar, but in order to manage our limited time, they will be answered towards the end of the session. Also, kindly include the slide number in your question so that we will be guided when answering them. When questions are typed in, you may use the upvote button if you have the same question. The question with the most number of likes will be prioritized during the Q&A portion. We also add more details to the question by using the comment button. A poll question will be posted from time to time. A separate window will pop up to show the polling question. Select your answer from the list and then click Submit. The results of the poll will be shown after. Just click Close when you're done viewing the results. At the end of the webinar, you will automatically be routed to a survey form. Kindly take time to answer this short survey. Your feedback is valuable to us and will help us improve our succeeding webinars. Access to recordings of this session, key takeaways, and succeeding webinar schedules will be announced on our Facebook pages at Trend Micro Careers Philippines, Trend Micro Pilipinas, and Click Right. You can also send us a message if you want to request a topic you would want us to cover in our next webinar. Feel free to like and follow our pages. And for those who are asking, the certificate of attendance for this webinar will be sent to your emails a week after this session. So before we begin, time to meet our speaker for today. So our speaker for today is Rodel Villarez. He is a senior project manager in Trend Micro with over 15 years of experience in managing various teams and technical support. Aside from his work at Trend Micro, he also has 15 years of experience teaching at different universities. Some of the notable certifications under his belt include Trend Micro Security Expert, Trend Micro Security Master, Microsoft Certified Professional, Security Plus, COPC Training Coordinator, Six Sigma Green Belt, Flip Level 2, and Certified Online Training Professional. He graduated from Don Bosco Technical College with a degree in BS Electronics and Communications Engineering, a master's in engineering major in electrical and electronics from the University of Southern Queensland, and a master's in engineering education from Rizal Technological University. So ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you our speaker for today, Rodel Villarez.
Thank you, Ochi, for your wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Rodel, and I'll be your speaker for this afternoon. We are using our Zoom webinar and not a Zoom meeting. That's why we cannot see your faces nor hear your voices. So, friends, kindly make a noise in the chat room, please. Write your location and say hi to everyone. Let me see the chat messages. I have one from TIP. Hello from PQC. Jonas, Mount Makiling. Also, we have Wendy in Bulacan State and from FEU. We also have people watching from Thailand. Wow. And in Pampanga. All right. That's nice. Ochi, my voice is quite clear right now.
Yes, it's clear.
That's good. So, let me start the presentation by this simple quote. As an educator, there is no single solution in securing your online learning. Always remember, it involves having layers of defense. Okay? So there is no single solution for cybersecurity. And just to make sure that I am not a recording, here's my live view. Hi everyone. But I have to turn off my screen so that you will not be distracted with this face. All right, so let's start. As I mentioned earlier, that cybersecurity involves layer of defense. That's why what we're going to do this afternoon is we're going to start with the application layer. We're going to at least give an overview on how to protect the application layer. And then we're going to proceed in protection of file level, and as well as our basic review of online safety. So those are the objectives for this afternoon. Okay? But before we proceed, I'd like to know first, who is my audience right now? Ochi, if you may.
All right, so we're launching a polling question right now just to have a view of where you guys are or who our audience are for this afternoon. So we're getting a lot of teachers. So far we have 73% are teachers. We have 16% students. We have 15% professionals, and we have 2% parents.
All right, that's good. So can you show the actual results now?
All right, so let me just show the actual results. A final tally. So I'll give you guys like 2 more seconds to answer, and then I'll close the polling question. So I'll be
I think,
closing
Ochi, we have majority of teachers, right?
Yeah, actually, we're getting a lot of comments on the chat that say, hey, a lot of teachers are joining in. So our final tally would be we have 17% students, we have 74% of those joining us today, teachers, 15% professionals, and we have 2% parents.
All right. So we have a lot of features. That's good. Actually, this talk is designed for you teachers. But what I'm saying is that even you are a student or a professional or just simply a parent who wants to know online security, most of us will actually deal with the video conferencing applications. I remember when I was teaching, I used to tell my students to put away their cell phones and sometimes their tablet. But right now, as you notice, you will ask all your students to get their phone, laptops, and tablets. So it's a complete reversal during this pandemic season. And if you're going to ask me, is there any free video conferencing applications? Yes, there are a lot of free conferencing applications such as AnyMeeting, TalkBox, Open Meetings, EasyTalks. Those are free that our educators can actually use anytime. And most of the online, or I think the most popular right now is what is known or what we call as our Zoom, right? So if you're going to look at the growth rate of Zoom, they have at least 724% according to the last survey, 724% increase of usage for Zoom. So that is about 50 million users right now. Imagine that. Okay. Now, if we're going to use this video conferencing, we need to be very careful, especially if we're using the latest Zoom, because we have what is known as the Zoom bombing. Okay? So you don't want, if you are already teaching online and you have probably grade 7, grade 6, students, we don't want to see any other users of this online video conferencing, right? Especially like the one in the picture right now. So we want to avoid this. And how to avoid this type of Zoom bombing? I'll give you 7 steps. Okay? Not only applicable for Zoom, but all of the webinars application that you're going to use. So, number 1, keep the meeting URL secure. Remember, you receive a URL link. So please do not share that link to others if you are not part of that meeting. Use your waiting room. Most of you, those who comes early, probably you did not notice that you are put in a waiting room. But the main purpose of this is that there is another moderator in this webinar who approves who can join the webinar series. So you are put first to the waiting room. Maximize that value, the waiting room. What else? Check your email. When you join this webinar, you are asked to use an email. So sometimes you use your Gmail, sometimes you use your Yahoo Mail. So for those teachers, kindly use only one email while logging into a webinar. The next one is lock the meeting. Of course, once the meeting started, you don't want others to join. So make sure that you can lock all those meetings. Okay? And utilize the application wherein you can kick offenders. I can actually kick Bernard right now. He's from Silang Cavite. No, it's Mercedita. So I can kick Mercedita anytime. Okay? Maximize that opportunity as a moderator. And also disable video and audio if not needed. Okay? So make sure that you mute others. Okay? And don't forget to use your password. Apply password. Okay. So Ochi, my sound is clear right now?
Yes, you're clear.
All right, good. So please do not paste the URL link to your Facebook account. For those who are intended to create an online class, do not put it on your Facebook. Send it through emails. And always use password. The Zoom has a property wherein it can use a random password and webinar link. Okay? But there is an option that you can use also your personal number. Let me show you directly on the example on the Zoom. This is how you remove the participants. You need to enable on your advanced setting. So in Zoom, there is a setting. If you're going to click that setting, there is another options, advanced settings. And if you click on that advanced settings, you will go to this menu, wherein you need to allow remove participants to rejoin. Just enable that one. Also, create waiting room. So it's not automatically created. Okay? So create your waiting room. And also make a strong password. So passwords, you can put your own personal meeting ID with passwords, but I suggest do not share this personal meeting ID if you are using your online classes. Okay? It should be random. Okay? All right. So now we're talking about strong password. Let me show you how to create a strong password. Okay? I will enable a video. Kindly listen on this quick video.
Every day, it seems, we need to create a new account online, and with each new account comes the added risk of our personal information being stolen. Managing passwords to online accounts is not a simple matter. We could all use a little help. Using a password manager like Trend Micro Password Manager to help you with this important task keeps it simple and secure. Trend Micro Password Manager adds extra security by identifying weaker passwords, providing keystroke encryption to defend against keyloggers, and includes a secure web browser for financial transactions on the web. The best part is, you only have to remember one master password. If you aren't using a password manager yet, here are 7 tips to help you maintain the security of your online accounts and to create stronger passwords until you make the switch. Don't log into any private accounts on public computers at libraries, hotels, or common work computers. Remember to never store passwords in any web browser, even on your personal computer. Use a different password for each website account you create. And don't use common combinations like 1234, ABCD, or password, or phrases such as I love my dog, or simple names like Duke. When creating a new password, make sure it has at least 12 characters, includes both upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters like exclamation mark or hash. Even if the site does not require this, it's always best to be on the safe side. Consider using a phrase or a lyric that's easy to remember as a basis for creating passwords. An example of this could be a song lyric like, I'm just a poor boy from a poor family, or IJA, PBF, APF. When setting up security questions, don't use common information that can be searched for online, like your mother's maiden name, a previous address, or a phone number. Make sure those questions are something that only you would know the answer to. And remember, the answers don't have to be truthful, just memorable. Even if you are doing all this, remember to change your passwords periodically. We recommend at least 3 times a year. Use 2-step authentication whenever possible. Having a simple text message sent to your cell phone whenever you log into an account on a new computer or when your password is changed will help with security and warn you whenever something has changed on your account. By following these simple tips, your personal information and financial security will be better protected online. But if all that seems like too much, try our simple password manager.
All right, so apology on the sound because you are under the webinar. It might be lagging in a bit, but don't worry, I'll try to explain the video that you saw. In creating a password, you need to understand, right now, you need to have at least 12 characters. Right? So before, the recommendation is 8, but right now, we are under 12 characters. Okay? And don't forget to use alphanumeric and special characters when creating your password. Okay? And in passwords, you need to keep in mind 2 things. You need to be memorable enough, the password, you can remember. And the other one is it should be a unique. Okay? Now let me show you a quick demo on what happens if your password is not that strong. Okay? Ochi, you can see my screen right now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, that's good. So I have some link here for the teachers so that they can show them to the students what will happen if your password is not that strong. Let me give you an example, password. Okay. So this one has a very low score of 6. So what happens if your score is 6? If you're going to go to how secure is your password, the internet is a bit slow in the afternoon. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so for those have a very high internet connections, you can go to howsecureismypassword.net and you can type here password. You'll notice that it can be break instantly. Okay? But if you increase the number of characters and put an alphanumeric, let's say for example, I'll change this to ito underscore ang password using numbers and capital letters, special characters. Notice, if I am a hacker, I will not try to hack your password for 129 billion years. Only if I use 12 characters, alphanumeric, special characters included. Okay? So for teachers, remember, you can show that to your class. Now, as we all know, we usually use passwords in our emails and everything. So I have here another tool that can check what if your password has been pwned already. Means that somebody already used that password. You can also check it. Visiting this website, haveibeenpwned.com/passwords, you can check if the password that you are using right now is has been compromised before. Let's say, for example, I type in password here, and then I'll check. So you will notice that this password was used 3 million times already. Right? So avoid using password that has been used before, because there is already a data bank that hackers can actually use again those known passwords. All right, so let me go back to my presentation on the security. Remember our password, and remember all this link as well. Let me check. Okay, so where are we right now? At this point, I showed you already the application level, security on your video conferencing, and best practices. Now let's proceed with the file protection and online safety later on. In terms of file protection, let's have a quick game first. Who among you can crack this code? You can type it on your Zoom or in your chat box if you know already the answer. I'm still waiting. A bit hard, right? But notice that our students, we have two types of students right now. The first one is a student that will simply go to Google and type in what's the answer in crack the code. Okay? So if you think that you are a smart person and you want to crack the code, you will start first with hint number 4. Nothing is correct. And so far, nobody is getting it right. The answer here is, do you know what the answer is? I think the answer is 0. I'll start with the 0. And 042, we have Marianne. Marianne got it right, 042. That's it, all right? So see the excitement when you want to crack a code. That's why in file protection, I recommend, highly recommend, that always use the encryption. If you're going to present and share that to the students, the PowerPoint that you're going to share to the students, make sure that you put a password on your PowerPoint. It's unfortunate that not all of the teachers know already this, but if you're going to share your PowerPoint, make sure that you encrypt it with the password. This requires a password to open the presentation. Okay? So this is the link. If you're going to look at my screen, there you go. Encrypt with password. I'll try to annotate with a pen, this one. So make sure that you click on this one, go to your file and info, and then click encrypt. You can also use it in Excel. Those who are submitting grades, come on, we need to put a password in our grades. So how to do that? Again, go to your informations and then click on encrypt with passwords. Or you can also protect the current sheet or the tab or column. But please put a password on your Excel or PowerPoint. This will also avoid what is known as macroviruses. Another criteria to at least avoid those macroviruses. Again, you need to disable the macro, but if you can, put a password on it, right? Now, you have already provided encryption on your PowerPoint and Excel, but what if you want to share a USB? Remember, if you see a USB, what do? You pick it up and then insert it already. Or if you lost your USB hard drive, everyone can see what's inside. Please also include encryption on your USB thumb drive or hard drive. How? Sir, how? Most of your operating system have what is known as a BitLocker. Okay? So you go to your file manager and go to your manage, click on BitLocker, and you have to turn on the BitLocker. Select the drive that you want to encrypt. Okay? So again, those who are not yet aware, you can encrypt a USB thumb drive or hard disk by just going to your file manager, click on manage, click on BitLocker, and turn it on. Now, I'm warning you, you have to memorize your password. Again, the password should be unique and can be memorized by you. Okay? Don't forget that, please. So, I hope this will help those who are going to attend the face-to-face learning. I don't know if there will be a face-to-face learning, but mostly it's blended learning right now. So you might be sharing USB to your students. You might be asked to share the USB. Encrypt your USB, please. Okay. Now, another thing that you need to remember in file security, always follow the 3-2-1 rule. Do you know what is a 3-2-1 rule? Create 3 copies in 2 different types of media in 1 offsite location. Always remember the 3-2-1, 3 copies. So those students with thesis, most of the time they will say, the file is corrupted, sir. I cannot send the assignment or the thesis. Of course, they only have 1 copy. They need to have at least 3 copies of that one, just in case. 2 different media, right? So you can burn it on your CD, if there's still a CD. USB, thumb drive, most of the time they have. Okay, make sure that they have a copy on their laptop and thumb drive, or they can utilize the cloud application. There are a lot of free cloud application. And then with at least 1 located offsite. So in the offsite, you can put it in the cloud, or you can put it in another place aside from your home. Okay, 3-2-1 rule to remember. This will prevent also, you might heard about ransomware. So the ransomware is the one that encrypt all of your files and ask for some money or Bitcoin. So if you have 3-2-1 rule, all you need to do is format your machines and get to the backup. So you don't need to pay. And those who have been infected with ransomware, please do not pay, because you don't know if the attacker will give you the private key to decrypt your files. So it's not a 100% solution. All right, so be careful on opening all of those files. Now, we have discussed already the different application security, file protections, and now let's go for an online safety. Just a quick check on online safety. All right. So for online safety, Again, always remember to have an antivirus. Okay? I'm not selling any Trend Micro products. I know we're the best, but I'm not telling you to buy one. Because what I'm after is the education part. Okay? You need to have an antivirus. But there are a lot of scam in antivirus. They said it's free. So just look for legitimate vendor. Okay? Do not download an antivirus free in the internet because it might be a fake AV. So that's a type of a malicious software as well. Always patch your operating system. Remember, there's a pop-up messages. You need a new updates. Click on that one. Do not click X mark. So that's our tendency. Click X later. No, you need to patch your operating system. It might be Linux or Windows, but you need to patch them. Next, public Wi-Fi. Every time that we see a Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, connect. Do not connect to a free Wi-Fi. Always connect only to the legitimate Wi-Fi that you have. Okay? So it's not advisable to use any banking system or online payment when you are in a public Wi-Fi. Reason, if you are in a public Wi-Fi, it means everyone can see the packets being sent through that Wi-Fi, especially if there is a packet sniffer on that system. So you need to be very careful. Do not transact if you are using public Wi-Fi. You might just enable your, it might be expensive, yeah. Enable your data plan, okay? If you're going to go to public Wi-Fi and then you log onto your Facebook, don't forget to log out. You might be wondering why your Facebook was hacked, because you use public Wi-Fi and the password can be easily traced. Okay? Again, let's use the backup data, cloud or on-premise. And another item that I would like to discuss this afternoon is the two-factor authentication. So you might be wondering, why is it that I was being hacked? You did not use your two-factor authentication. Maximize it. So the two-factor authentication is very simple. It just simply satisfies two things. First is the thing that you know. And second is the thing that you have. So in this case, most probably you have your cell phone. So it will tell you if somebody is using your Gmail or Yahoo by sending you a authentication on your cell phone. Okay? That's why, remember the news yesterday? There's a lady that was being tricked for 100,000 because of the SIM. It's important that you also protect your SIM card, because that is where you send the two-factor authentication, something that you have. Okay? So, the two-factor authentication, if you are not aware, it's very simple. Go to this website. https google.com landing to FA. It is a site wherein you can just simply click next and next, but it can already enable your two-factor authentication. Okay? For the beginners, I recommend to go to this website and enable your two-step verification. Why Google? Because most of the time, we're going to use our Gmail on our online learning. Especially for the students, ask them to enable their two-step verifications. Right, teachers? Can you type yes, okay, on our chat box so that I will know that you are still there? Yes, two-factor authentication, said Abigail. Darcy said yes. Janet said yes. Good for you, Ivy. All right. Now, if you are a bit techie, you can just simply jump in and go to your My Account, google.com, and the two-step verification or two-factor authentication can be located here. Okay, so click on that one, make sure that it's on, and you're good to go. Some of the applications requires two-factor authentication, so make sure that you enable that. Also, right now, I think there is what is known as multi-factor authentication. So aside from two-factor, it's already multi-factor. All right. Now, notice online safety does not just simply refer to our laptop or computer, but as well as our mobile devices. So you need to protect also the mobile devices. How many of you right now are using mobile device while in a webinar? Do we have participants here using a cell phone? Because all of us are using computer right now. Me po, Angela. So Angela is using cell phone, mobile devices. So we need to educate as well our students. They need to protect also their mobile devices. Okay? Protect the mobile devices. How? The location access. What's that? If you're going to go to your settings and go to your pictures, there is what is known as tagging the location, right? Why is it important? There is a tool known as geotag, wherein I can see the exact location of the what you can say, the picture. Where is it taken from? And I can view the exact geo map if your tagging is enabled. So for me, I usually turn off that location access. I only use it when I'm using the navigations. But if not, I usually turn it off. Okay. What else? The use of public Wi-Fi. That's the same when you're using your computer. Your cell phone contains a lot of information as well. Okay, your Facebook account is there. Everything now is done using your mobile devices. So you need to protect that also. Another item that you usually forget. You know what is it, Sherlyn? It's your Bluetooth. So your Bluetooth, you always turn it on, right? No. If you're not using your Bluetooth, turn it off. Why? Right now, you can do a spot check. Scan your Bluetooth, and you will see all the devices near you. Unfortunately, some of those devices already have names. Si Pedro, si Juan. You can see it already. So to hide your identity, make sure that
Hello,
my
Rodel.
voice,
Hi.
yes.
Yeah, I think you were cut off for a bit. So if you can just repeat it from like when you were saying the first two sentences, I think you were cut off for a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now, Oche, I'm good with the
Yeah, you're
connection.
good. Yes, you're
It's
good.
raining right now in our place.
Yeah, I get it. All right. So yeah, you're good right now. You can continue.
Okay. So Bluetooth, please disable your Bluetooth if you're not using it. Okay. Unsolicited calls, please do not answer all those calls that you do not know. Okay. Especially yesterday, you heard the news. Somebody called. Okay. Ochi, I'm good. I'm receiving messages that I'm cut off again.
No, you're good right now.
All
I
right.
think that was from earlier.
Okay. So the chat is a bit lagging, right? Okay. And also, use your strong password. Or, if you may, use your your fingerprint. Okay, always turn on that biometrics if you have a nice phone, Samsung or something. Okay, all right. The rain is a bit heavy right now. Okay, I hope I will not lose connection. Remember the game earlier? Raise your hand if you know your name already. My name is Lee Ming Ho. No, I'm just kidding. So, most of you, those who joined 5 minutes early, we have a short game wherein you have to turn on your, or put your Korean name, right? Right? So we have Sunday, hard to pronounce. Lee Yan Ho, Han So Ju. Okay, Kang Jin Su. Hi, Kim. Nice, nice, nice. But unfortunately, teachers, you gave me your birthday, a very sensitive information, by just playing a game. I already know that Vanessa Park Yong-so has a birthday ending with 6 in September and something like 21, right? So, is it important? Yeah. Usually birthday, you don't share it already, right? But you're being tricked very easily by just a simple game. And right now, they're still writing their name. Kim. So, be careful of this strategy, the social engineering. But there is another thing that you need to be very careful as an educator or as a learner. This is what is known as phishing. Ochi, you have a clear voice. Can you read it for me?
Yeah, sure. So for our definition of phishing, phishing is a form of identity theft in which a scammer uses an authentic-looking email from a legitimate business to trick recipients into giving out sensitive personal information, such as a credit card, bank account, social security number, or other sensitive personal information.
That's good. Okay. So the idea of phishing is I need to get a personal information, probably a credit card, a bank account, SSS. But it does not just simply came from an email. It can also be from a website. Right. Let me show you an example. Usually here, during the pandemic, we want to know the number of cases right now of COVID. And when I go to Google and type in World Health Organization, I was pointed to this website. And it asked me for a login, phone number, email, and password. Okay? So, can you tell me if this type of website is a phishing website? Remember, it's World Health Organizations. Ochi, can you enable the polling? And let's just check our participants if they can spot if this is a legitimate or not.
So one moment, let me just launch the phishing, or sorry, the question. So for our next poll, we have, for the example, is this a phishing website? So for those who are using their computers or their mobile devices, please vote. So we have two options. You have yes or no. So based on what you guys see right now, do you think this is a phishing website? So for those who are using their browsers, I think they don't have the polling option available, so they're just typing in their answers on the chat. So I'm seeing a lot of answers saying yes. So let me just end this poll. And
Let's check. Yeah.
okay, so for the results of our poll, we have 84% think that yes, this is a phishing website, while we still have 16% who think that this is not a phishing website.
Okay. So, my answer here is this is a phishing website. Why? It's very easy to spot a phishing website. Okay. So it acts like a legitimate one, but if you're going to go and check this part here, okay, you will notice that it is not really who.int, but one int. And notice there is no secured socket sign here. The small lock. So be careful on that one. Only visit, if you can, only visit HTTPS, the one with the URL with S on it. Okay? Make sure that you validate if this is a secured one. So what's the difference? If you send an email or a password on an HTTP, it is not encrypted, meaning the password that you send in the internet can be viewed by someone that knows about networking. It can be captured while in transit. But while in HTTPS, they can capture the packet, but it is encrypted. So even though you send an email and a password, once it is HTTPS, it is secured. So be careful on this one. Kindly check your HTTPS. All right. So at least that's additional for the 10% that we have here. Okay. But there are a lot of categories for phishing. As I mentioned earlier, it does not only come from emails, but it can be a vishing one. Vishing is voice. Somebody is calling you to give you your password and email. That's vishing. Also, smishing. Very common. Ate, kuya, I'm from, ito na yung bago kong cellphone number. Pakiload. So that's smishing. Okay? So you need to be very careful on that one. What else? Also, we have what is known as search engine phishing. This is where you type in Google, and then remember there will be a lot of matches. For example, best restaurant. So be careful on that one. Okay. And what else? We also have what is known right now as spear phishing. Spear phishing is a targeted attack. So that's why it's known as spear. Okay. So it means that you are a person in authority, and we want, for example, in how about in school, registrar office. You want to do a spear phishing for the registrar office to get your grades. Okay. And also we have whaling. This one is for CEO, those big companies. So somebody will ask the CEO to approve something. That's whaling. Okay. Now let's have a quick demo before our time ends. For a quick demo, if you are not sure if it is a phishing website, you can go to our website, Trend Micro Site Safety. Okay. So let's say, for example, here, I'll type in pup.edu.ph. So they can check if this is a legitimate website or not. Let me check, try it again. PUP.edu, check now. So this website is safe. So if you are not sure if it is safe or not, you can go to our site safety and check if it is a phishing website. Right? And again, remember to verify this icon. You can click this one and notice it will be an HTTPS. Notice earlier, HTTPS was not present. But now if you double click, you will see the HTTPS. And this one will tell you the certificate. So you have your certificate here, details of it, what algorithm was being used during transit, SHA-1, RSA public key, right? And also the path if it is trusted or not, and so forth. You need to verify those small items right now, especially those who are teaching in IT. All right, so I think it's almost time on my end. So let me just go back on what the things that we have mentioned earlier. We started with the application security. Remember to use the different features of Zoom. And if you're not using Zoom, always use password on your web application or your video application. And remember those 7 steps that I mentioned earlier. For file protection, always use a password, encrypted one, even your USB thumb drive. And also for your online safety, make sure that you do the basic guidelines. Antivirus, OS, update your operating system, do not choose public Wi-Fi, and always use the 3-2-1 backup rule. All right, so I think that will end my presentation, Ochi. I would like to open the question and answers already.
Yes, so all right, so before we start or we open the floor for the Q&A or before we begin the Q&A section, I'd just like to remind everyone again that access to the recording of this session, all of our key takeaways and succeeding webinar schedules will be announced on our Facebook pages at Trend Micro Careers Philippines, Trend Micro Pilipinas, and click right. Feel free to like and follow our pages, and also for those asking for the certificates for this webinar, they will be sent a week after the session has been conducted. So we have a ton of questions. Our chat box actually has been blowing up. So for the questions, Sir Rodel, one question is, for the websites that you mentioned earlier, so you have howsecureismypassword.net and haveibeenpawnedpassword.com. What makes it different from other websites that may be or probably are already saving our information without our permission?
What's different?
Yeah, so how are they different from like other websites like Facebook? They're already saving our
Yeah,
data,
it's a
right?
tough question, but they're always governed by the Data Privacy Act. So we have different laws that are available right now. So have I been pawned? It's covered by the California law regarding the Data Privacy Act. Okay, so I cannot assure you that it's 100% secure. Okay? But at least you will have an idea as a educator on how to show them the strength of the password. I hope that
All right.
answers it.
All right, thank you for answering that question. All right, the next question is, if we encrypt our file, is there a software that can also decrypt our encrypted files?
There are a lot of software that available for decryptions, but you need to be very careful on that one, especially those students usually download how to decrypt, how to remove password. We have John the Ripper and everything, all those tools. There are a lot. But I am already sending you some warning that most of this decryption tool already contains some Trojan viruses as well. Because you don't really decrypt those information if you are not allowed to. Okay?
All right, so that's a great answer. For the next question, a lot of people have been asking about this as well, and for your own recommendation. The question is the built-in Windows security in Windows 10 already enough as a great antivirus for a computer? And say, for example, it isn't, what is your recommendation?
As I told you earlier, in the first few slides, there is no single point of security, or you can say there's no solution, single solution for cybersecurity. It is always a layer of defense. Okay? So, number one, for example, in social engineering, I already shown you that I can get your password, I can get your birthday by not using any technology. Okay? And the software, probably the security of your Windows right now, cannot also prevent you by giving me those information. So it's always a layer of protection starting from your computer up to the education of the user. Very important. All right.
Another question that we have right in here. The speaker is appreciated for sharing how to create a strong password. But the question is, how do the teachers determine if their PCs are hacked, since they may lead to, or this may lead to breach of personal online transactions?
There are a lot of symptoms, so you need to be careful if you are being hacked. Number one, observe the network traffic. Look for things that you think that somebody is connected to your computer. There are a lot of tools that you can do that. Okay. Example, who use my Wi-Fi? If you're going to go to Google and just type who use my Wi-Fi, you will notice you can download that and see all those users of your own Wi-Fi and your network. So if you think that somebody is not that person, you can remove it already. So there are indications that you are being hacked or someone is trying to connect to your network, but it's always a series of symptoms. Sometimes it's very hard to detect.
Okay, all right. So I think the protection or the advices that you gave will at least give them an idea on how to protect their own devices. So next question. So we have a ton of questions for today.
Yeah,
The
we
next
do
question
have.
is, I always save my files in Google Drive as also my backup media. Do you
Yes,
think it's safe to use Google Drive?
it is safe to use Google Drive. Um, Personally, I can say it's safe as long as you don't give your password to someone or write the password on your notebook or if you did not maximize the use of Google Drive, such as giving permissions. You might created a folder and then all can be anyone can see your files. So notice it's always layer of protection. The Google can secure the transit from your computer to the cloud. But once it is already in the cloud, it's the user responsibility to protect it. Do not include names that you do not know, for example. Share it only to your students. And that's it. From that point, I think I answered that question. Pachi?
All right, thank you so much. I think that's about all the time we have for this session. So, Sir Rodel, thank you for the wonderful session that you just conducted. So, for those who are asking about our future webinars or offerings, I'd like to remind everyone that our next webinar topic would be secure learning, setting up your home. This will be on June 26, 2020 from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Registration details will be shared on our Facebook pages, Trend Micro Careers Philippines, Trend Micro Pilipinas, and click right. But if you want to register right now, you can already scan the QR code that you have on your screens and proceed with the registration. So again, I'll give you guys a bit more time. So again, this is for secure learning, setting up your home. It'll be on June 26, 2020 from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And if you want to already proceed with the registration, you can already scan the QR code that's right in front of you right now. So to everyone who attended this webinar, thank you for attending and thank you for taking the time to attend this presentation that we had for you today. If you guys don't have any more questions or if you have any more suggestions, feel free to message all of our pages. So you have Trend Micro Careers Philippines, Trend Micro Pilipinas, and click right. So again, to everyone, have a wonderful day. Remember to answer the survey after leaving the session. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you
Thank
soon
you.
again.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.